Hey everyone, it's me, Patchdan Bogat again. This is part two of the series of how to approach a demon, or a daemon rather. Um, it's part two because in that continuation, we need to really facilitate our minds, our energies to reprogram it, to direct it in such a way where we're able to understand more fully the approach to a particular daemon. I mean, think about it. How would you like to be approached? How would you like people to call you, to make mention of you to other people? Is it good? Is it bad? Something to really think about for a second, because individuals these days, they just feel that especially by the works of the lesser keys of Solomon, you must demand the particular daemon. You know, you must demand these 9 foot circles. You entrap them and you just tell them, hey, look, if you don't, I will burn your sigil. And not only is that foolish, but I'm thinking, like, why would you say that to something that is so vastly superior to you that it would just make your life a living hell if it really wanted to? But yet, that's in the old grimoires, is not what I recommend. You wouldn't even recommend it. Even those who are in their churches, doing their thing. Um, I believe in the Bible, it does speak about how God is not the one to be mocked. You know, even though I have my own ideas of, what, this entity, this God is, this Yahweh figure is, but nonetheless, it speaks about how it doesn't want to be mocked. So you think about that for a little bit. You think about how in these religions, even in the occult, what we do share is a common thought. And that thought is that you need to really be cognizant of how the other person would take or receive the information. You don't want to be that individual that's going to even demand, curse, and use foul language. It's just one of those things where it's like, if it's done in the intention to pretty much hurt the other person, and then it's like it just goes out the window. It's just how I view other commenters on other channels, or even in other forms of social media. How people, I can understand. They want to troll. They want to, just be very extreme, and I'm not, looking at it in a judgmental way. It's just how it is. People just tend to approach matters, and there's a word again, to approach matters in their own way. But most of these ways that individuals these days do it is just so, it's so wrong. It's just stupid, so very stupid. You think about how uh, these movies, they would portray having this individual have, this Ouija board, and having this Ouija board, they contact some daemon, right? And by doing so, this daemon possesses them, and the all the spiel. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, not only is that a bunch of crap and whatever, just money to make a quick buck, because it's useful. People are, as a cliche, they're sheeple. They're going to eat it up. They're going to believe it because you don't have nothing to fear with someone who just doesn't think for themselves. Just like some who are watching, they don't want to think for themselves, so they just go, well, you know what, the daemons are scary, and they give a supposed testimony, and then we're supposed to feel sad, and then it should heighten our, fear of the particular daemon, and then it just goes on and on and on, and then until you come to look at this video, and it just sounds like I'm some crazy horse, like I'm talking out of my neck, so to speak, and it's just another foreign language to you that you can't really approach this particular daemon because so and so says this, and you miss out. But I know for a fact that if you're an individual that's open up enough in your mind and your heart, and you're willing to learn, then you realize that obviously, instead of being a sheeple or a person that acts like or behaves like a sheep, you want to decide for yourself what your boundaries are, not based off what other people approaches are toward the Goetia. Not only in my first video of this series of how you approach a particular daemon, or any daemon at that, it's just one of those things where you just have to think. And if you approach your boss in that same way, your mom, your dad, do you really think you're going to be receiving much favor from them? Or as opposed to you being respectful, perhaps being respectful and kind, loving, perhaps the thought never entered their mind to give you something. I mean, a daemon will give you something every now and then, but of course it's based off of the work that you do, the love that you show, and things of that nature. But the point still remains: it's how you really view that particular daemon in your approach. What is your delivery? You see, I knew, for example, that I wasn't going to last very long in the right hand path religion. It's because it was my approach on their Yahweh. When I began to really do research about him being, hateful, vengeful, petty, another nation, has to be killed because he doesn't want them to worship their God. It must be Yahweh. That to me not only does it gives a live testimony to the very notion that he's not who he says he is by a tribal man's ancient mindset of the world around him, but it also delivers the notion that it's just most likely a very ancient man's idea of what his reflection of a god may be, because he is that way. Anyone that would just make a woman lesser than cattle just to make a child is so archaic, it's so outdated that it's not even funny. I mean, it's 2020. Imagine how well that would work in court today if, you know, my wife, my girlfriend, my aunt, my mom, or whoever, whatever female, and wondered why I didn't do anything to preserve her life. And I'm like, well, because my God views her this way. She's less than cattle, and it's okay for her to be raped and molested, but give the rapist all the rights and not the woman. It's like that's it's like the approach to that, is just so awkward. That's why when upon leaving, I was able to look at such a, astral parasite like that, and I would be able to go. It can't be, because that's nothing but poison. It's sick poison to not only have someone read a holy book and intake all that nonsense. It's just one of those things where it's like, how wonder the Bible's filled with blood magic. It's filled with so much subliminal messages, numerology that it's meant to keep you away from reaching actual levels, higher levels of consciousness, because it just keeps you sedated, into the matrix, if you will. And my approach to that was, obviously I had to deprogram myself of that, and then of course being free from the matrix, being free from such dark, ill mannered magic, such as the Bible. It just really made me feel a lot more freer than what I was a lot more, back then, because it was basically slavery, but now I'm more free, or that's what I try to say. I'm more free now than what I was before. But you see how it's my approach towards it. It's not like I'm trying to bash Christianity. I'm simply saying the truth for what it's worth and going to the source of the matter. I'm not trying to just make up stuff that's not there. I'm presenting the information, saying this is what it is. Either you accept it or not. It's really up to you. It's just a matter of approach. But just like how people don't like my message, they don't want to listen to it, then you have every right to. It's just one of those things where I know where I'm at, and I'm pretty sure, and this is without duality, without the practice of duality. I'm not gonna say the other side, because I don't even believe the Bible as being inspired by whatever benevolent God it wants me to believe, but it is from another source. It is from another level of consciousness where if that's for people and it's okay for them and they've made changes in their life, that it's good for them. That's really my ultimate viewpoint of Christianity. It's my ultimate viewpoint of what I believe, on the Bible and the being. It's my approach to it because I notice how Bibles are still in hotel rooms and people still read them. They still feel it to be sacred, and you know what? That's okay for them. It's just the approach, right? But however, it's one of those things where, and I'm gonna be quite honest with you, even though I've expressed my approach, I do not, and I say this again, I do not want to advertise any bigotry, some bias that even if someone is a Christian or of any other domination and they want to listen to a video about Satan or this particular video, I won't stop you. It's not like you're not allowed or you're not allowed to give worship. And mind you, when I mention worship, the word worship has been downgraded to a point where people misuse the word worship. Worship to people living in the United States anyway would be getting on your knees groveling and you're prostrated and you're just crying and you're just that's just mainly what the idea of worship is. But worship itself is pretty much to revere someone, to put them on high. You highly esteem them. So if you being a Muslim, a Christian, and you highly esteem or you worship your God and it's okay with you, then it is what it is. But for me, I highly esteem Satan, and I see him as such. And my approach to him is exactly that. And that's why I get good results. It's not a level of conceit. It's not arrogant. It's just that I get result. And you know what? To be fair, you have people who still want to believe and follow the, Quran or the Bible, then, and they also equally feel that they get results. But I'm not primarily speaking to these people unless they want to listen, but this video is primarily about those who are of like mind, like nature, and they know like there is a higher purpose when it comes to doing magic, witchcraft, call it whatever it is you want, but it's one of those things where you think about your approach. It is everything. It is your attitude about it. It is everything. And once you do that, you're going to see if what you actually think about, what you actually do in your life, is it in accordance to how you perceive that particular daemon? I mentioned it in my first video of this part. I think it was the part 1. This is part 2. But in part 1, I spoke about how an individual saw Clornak. He saw Clornak as a monster, and that's what he appeared to be. You really put it on yourself. It's like manifestation. When you manifest stuff into this world, you are putting thought within your energy to change things within your environment. And the daemons know that quite well. You see, and you should know that too. Perhaps as in closing to this video, a good approach to knowing what it is you're doing when you speak with a particular daemon without demanding them, but with respect. I could advise you, it's not ill-advised, to read the Kabbalion. It has the 12 laws of the universe. It's one of the many esoteric texts that really do help you a lot and how you're able to perceive reality. In fact, as a whole, the Kabbalion was one of the first books that Satan directed me to so that I could basically learn about the world around me, especially leaving behind Christianity. When I was very new to the left-hand path, I didn't know anything about what a manifestation is, or didn't even bother to look it up. But when I met Satan, it was all about research. It was all about learning. It was all about my approach to everything and how I perceive the world around me. And today, I can't stop thinking, Satan, how I'm more mature and I'm more of a well-developed spiritual person. And what that means is not someone that's basing his beliefs off of just hearsay because the ancient book says so, but it's by direct experience. When you have direct experience, you have evidence. When you have that evidence, then it makes you feel a lot more, not just gratitude, but you feel as if like you have a place in this world, and hopefully you just want to help someone to appreciate that same knowledge because you approach the daemons in such a way that they're able to learn. And once you do that, then you know that you're able to better appreciate them. To me, it just always goes back to gratitude. That's why it kind of sounded as if like I'm using circular speech here, but it's really because of gratitude. Because the approach that I have with Satan and the rest of the Goetia, you could do the same, and you're gonna say the same thing in perhaps your videos and in your experiences when you explain it to someone else. It's really just your appreciation because you appreciate what they do for you, they teach you, and then you go about and then you just basically just approach them in that manner, not in a dogmatic manner, more like a friend. And then hopefully you get to help people to appreciate that same exact technique. Okay, so that will close this video of the part 2 on how we are able to approach the particular daemon. And as a summary and conclusion, hopefully it's with respect. Hopefully it's you have developed and gained a lot of knowledge based off evidence, you know, your direct experience with them, and you're able to see them as a family member. Okay, see you guys, and I see you in my next video. See ya.